Just want to kick things off today by saying a massive, massive thank you to all of the people who watched this morning's 3-hour transfer window live stream marathon. If you want an insight into how I do a full summer of non-league to legend transfers, then you need to go back and watch the replay of that 3-hour long stream. You saw everything, why we did what we did, how we did what we did. It's complete behind the scenes goodness. I'll endeavour to link up to it into one of those corners, but it's the most recent video on the channel before this one. It was just a lot of fun. So thank you to everyone who got involved. Let's get on with it. I'm so tired after it though. Let's get on with the rest of the season. Hello and welcome to Club 5 Part 7 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we will have a look through those transfers that came in over the course of that live stream that I mentioned we did this morning. Plus, we're going to play our first game of the new Premier League season at home against Arsenal, complete with new tactic. So, let's start with these transfers. Like I said, if you want in-depth on how and why, the stream is the place to look at, but we'll certainly have a little look at who, and we're going to start with the players who were released. So released players, and these were significant. Just Callum Wilson, Jesse Lingard and Riyad Mahrez, just releasing those 3 players, added nearly £350,000 a week to our wage budget, which is just ridiculous. So those 3 have gone, plus a bunch of youngsters who we don't need to really worry about. And then we carried on moving players out. Grant Margeman moved out for £6 million to Shakhtar. Emmanuel Diallo, one of many defenders that we didn't need. He's gone to Wolves for 11 million quid. Rafik Zeknini has gone to Nantes for not very much money, but he was only valued at 3 million quid anyway, and he wasn't even in our squad last season, just sat rotting in the reserves for half a season. Vincent Collett, who's a right back that we signed in January last year, he's gone out on loan to Lens because he's not very good. He was a bit of a panic buy. Roll Heiser has left. He's gone to Borussia Mönchengladbach for £16.75 million. He's supposed to be a striker, never scored goals. We've moved him on. Ixel Freiberg is probably our 5th choice centre-back, but wasn't going to get into the squad. He's still got 4-star potential, so we're keeping him around. But he's going to spend the season on loan at Villarreal to try and get some game time. Jan-Andre Roda, you'll meet him in a minute. We signed him thinking he was going to be our new left back, and it turned out he was nowhere near as good as our scouts thought he was going to be. He wasn't really good enough for us. He's got a little bit of potential though, so we've moved him straight back to the Bundesliga again with Hoffenheim. Try and get some games in him, see if he might come back as a Premier League player. He's probably not going to. And then lastly, Imbula has gone on a free transfer to Verona, and there's probably going to be one more player added to the outs because the winger, whose name escapes me, Aravalo, he's not registered for our squad and he's probably going to go to Real Betis on loan, but it just hasn't gone through in time for today's episode. So, with all those players leaving, this is what I've brought in, and I'm really happy with the transfers that we've brought in. And I'm also really happy that we've had close to a break-even summer, only £8 million in transfer outlay, and I think we've massively overhauled and improved this squad. Manolo Portanova comes in. He's a 25-year-old Italian international who scores goals at a goal a game for Italy. He came in from Juventus, 4-star current ability player. He's been playing regularly for Juventus. I think that is a cracking signing. Craig Sheffield we're going to ignore. My director of football brought him in before I realised he was bringing in youngsters. We put a stop to that after Craig Sheffield. Marco is another bargain. Comes in from Barcelona. 23-year-old central midfield player with 4.5-star potential, but only 2.5-star current ability. He's been stuck in the Barcelona B team for nearly 200 games. He might fulfill some of that potential, he might not, but considering he didn't cost us any money and he's on next to no wages, it seemed like a gamble worth taking just in case he gets anywhere near that potential ability, because he has the potential to be a leading Premier League midfield player, and for that kind of cheap outlay, that would be a wonderful outcome. David Hall, you'll recognise from our time at Portsmouth. We weren't able to bring in Barry Scott because he cost too much money, but we have been able to sign David Hall. He's now 22, 2.5-star current ability with 3.5-star potential. Another one who's come in fairly cheap for free. Bit of a gamble, but hopefully it'll pay off. He's been scoring goals for fun for Portsmouth for the last 2 seasons. You've been watching him do it for Portsmouth while we were there. And if he can be half the player for us that he was for Portsmouth in the division below, he's going to be a decent 4th choice striker. Marcus Edwards has been brought in just to fill out the English players that we've got in the squad. We were getting a little non-homegrown heavy, and I was worried we wouldn't be able to fill the squad properly. So with Jesse Lingard and Riyad Mahrez leaving, and their £250,000 a week wages between them going with them, I thought, well, we want a player who can do a similar role, can play in that attacking midfield position that we use, but can also go out wide or up front if we decide to use wingers at some point. So Marcus Edwards fit the bill there. He's 26 now, but can play anywhere across the midfield or attack. 3-star current ability means he is good enough to be a bit part player in the team. He's never going to be first choice in any position, but he's cheap. That was the important thing. Less than £20,000 a week. He's a bit of an improvement and upgrade on Jesse Lingard. Plus, he's got Premier League experience and a full season in the Championship last year. N'Golo Kante has returned to Leicester. I know he's 34 now, but bear with me, he's still got 3.5-star current ability. He's been playing regularly for Chelsea, and it just seemed right to bring him back to Leicester. He's only here on a 1-year contract. If it works out, we'll give him another 1-year contract. And continuing in the old man's club, we've got Danilo, who's come in on loan from Arsenal for the year because we were getting a bit desperate for fullbacks. He can play primarily right back, but can offer us cover at left back as well. 3.5-star current ability makes him better than any right back we already had at the club. And again, he's been playing regularly for Arsenal, so he can certainly come in and do a job for us. Roda we've already talked about, and we're going to pretend he didn't happen. And then I signed a young centre-back from Wolves, so we let one of our unwanted centre-backs go to Wolves, and then we bought their hot centre-back prospect to replace him. 19-year-old Serbian international, only 2.5-star current ability at the moment, but does have 5-star potential. The one thing with the defenders that we had a lot of defenders who are around 3-star current ability, but none of them have got any potential to improve. They're either old or just haven't got the potential. Kostic isn't quite as good as them, not quite as good as Diallo, who's replaced really, but he has that 5-star potential. He's got youth on his side and could end up becoming an absolute superstar for us. We've taken a big gamble, so we spent a lot of money on him on a dice roll, but I think he could end up being a key part of our defence for years. Leo was a panic buy left back when the first one didn't work out. So when Roda was a disaster, 4 days later, we signed another one for slightly more money. 29-year-old Brazilian international with 1 cap. He's only 3-star ability, but you know what? He's probably a little bit better than Jordan Amavi, and he's another option at left back, so Panzo doesn't have to go out there, because now we've not got 8 centre-backs. Panzo's going to have to just play centre-back, so we needed a second left-back. Leo's going to come in and do that job, probably just for a season. And then lastly, because we got an injury, and I'll show you the injury in a second, we panic bought in a striker right on deadline day. He's only on loan for the year from Real Madrid, but he looks like he's a bit good. 22 years old, 4-star current ability with 4.5-star potential. He is as good as Cesar, better than Miller, apparently. He's only costing us 1.8 million to bring in on loan for the year, and he could end up being a superstar. But on the subject of Cesar, we haven't seen him play since before Christmas, and he's now injured again. If we have a look at his injury history, he's now torn his knee ligaments, and he's out for another 2 months. So this guy, I think we're probably done with him. He's so injury prone. He was good when he was playing, but he's not. I mean, by the time he's back, it'll be nearly a year since we've seen him kick a football. He's not likely to still be the same player. And if he is, when's he going to get injured next? So we were going to build an attack around Cesar and Miller and just say, oh, yeah, it was a recurrence of an injury, but we'll let you off. But no, now he's done that as well. I'm kind of washing my hands with him. Gwyndahl can be the guy who partners Miller. And then we've got Hall as an option behind them. The one thing that I've been fiddling with but didn't talk about on stream is the new tactic. I mean, it's not revolutionary. It's not something you've never seen me do before, although the makeup of it is a little bit different. And we're going to be doing a diamond. And we're going to be doing a diamond on control when we're at home and on counter-attack when we're away from home. But it's going to pretty much look like this. But it's a different kind of diamond to what I would normally do. Because our midfield 3, we very much want them to just pack the midfield and stay there. We don't want them pushing on. We've not got anyone on attacking instruction. We've not got a box-to-box midfielder in there. We want the midfield 3 to be the midfield 3. And then we're playing Ralston and Leo as wing-backs to push past them. That's the theory at the moment. And then we're going with Gwyndahl, Miller and Almeida up front. So I don't know how it's going to work. We haven't seen it in practice yet, but why not experiment against Arsenal? So we've got Svillar in goal, a back four of Leo, Panzo, Oliveira and Ralston, with Portanova in behind Storaro and Kante, and then Almeida in behind Guindal and Miller. If Jonathan Miller can carry on the form he was in at the end of last season, and we can get Guindal, Almeida, those kind of players playing just as well around him, we could be in for a good season. The media are predicting a 14th place finish. The board want mid-table. I want to qualify for the Europa League. I think if we're going to have another season at Leicester next season, I think we need to get into Europe this year. Right, let's get into the game. Oliveira, yeah, he's great. Suto's not fit. That's why he's not involved today. Suto's going to be a bit of an iffy one because he doesn't really fit into that midfield plan that I was just talking about. He's very much an attacking central midfield player, mainly a winger. But he's another one who's had some injury problems. So we've got the option to play with wingers. If this doesn't work at all, we've still got Suto who can play on the wing. We've still got Adonis who can play on the wing. We've got New Boy Edwards who can go out on the wing. We have options to play with wingers still. But I kind of want this to work. And if we have to sacrifice Suto to do that or train him to be an attacking midfielder, then so be it. I mean, he was good when he was in the team last year, but he wasn't game-changing good. He wasn't the best player on the pitch. He didn't have the same kind of impact Almeida or Miller had when we got them playing to their strengths, or even Adonis when we got him playing well as an inside forward towards the end of last season. I think he had probably more of an impact than Suto had when he was playing in central midfield, and he never really got much of an opportunity playing as a winger. Feels like I'm losing my voice, which I guess is to be expected. I have been talking solidly for nearly 4 hours at this point when you include the stream and going straight into doing this video. And of course, after all that build-up, it's just going to be a completely uneventful first half. I mean, we are playing Arsenal. I guess that's fine. We're retaining a little bit of possession. We're creating a little bit. I guess our midfield, the way we've got the midfield set up, they're not going to be creating 6 or 7 clear-cut chances a game. Or with a midfield that's not really pushing on, we really are relying on getting the wing-backs pushing further forward. We're probably going to need to tweak this system a little bit as time goes on, but if we can end up with a bit more of a solid base, certainly away from home, then we're less likely to get thumped as often as we can do, especially in those away games. We might even do a 4-2-3-1 at home and use this as our away tactic on counter. Lots of ideas to play around with at the moment. And of course, as ever, use the comments box down below to let me know what you think of all the different options that we've got. And Arsenal have now gone 1-0 up. And I'm looking at the bench and thinking, right, we've got Suto, we've got Adonis. Do we go straight to the 4-2-3-1 now and abandon an entire summer of selling off all our wingers? Rolheis is just going to sit there. Where did he go? Mönchengladbach? He's just going to sit there giggling that we're now playing with wingers and we've only got 2 at the club. Can't abandon it this early on. But what I could do is bring on Suto and just have a more attacking option in midfield. Maybe bring him on for Storaro. And rather than having Kante, Storaro and Portanova all sat there, get someone like Onomar or Suto in to just push forward a little bit more. Guindal hasn't had a particularly impressive debut. I want to bring on David Hall. I'm going to bring on David Hall. What's the worst that can happen from bringing on David Hall? Imagine he makes the step up and becomes a hero. Almeida's also not had the best of games, so we're going to bring on Adonis for him, make him a playmaker because that's what he likes to do. And then we're going to do a triple. We're going to bring on Suto for Kante, and we just want him to push forward as well, like that. Is that stupid? Guess we're about to find out. In fact, Suto was doing well as a Mazzala, wasn't he? That's what we want him to do, not attacking playmaker. Can we get back on the tactics screen? Can we do Mazzala? We can do Mazzala. Mazzala on attack. That's what we want. And we should probably go attacking as well. To try and get back into this game. Get our fullbacks pushing on even more. Right, here we go. Adonis to Suto. To Storaro. We're actually getting a highlight. And it involves Suto. Perhaps Suto does need to be starting. Leo crosses in to David Hall. Oh, I thought he was going to score on his debut. How did he miss that? I was going to get so excited there. I think he's our first multi-club player that we've had in non-league to legend this year. And imagine the kind of impact a goal on his debut would make for a multi-club player. We love a multi-club player. We just need to sign Barry Scott to go alongside him. Forget Miller. I wonder if I offer a I don't even know who Barry Scott's parent club is. Tottenham, I think. If I offer them a swap for Miller, and we'll have the Razor Ramon partnership here at Leicester. Prove we could have got Portsmouth up. Oh, they're going to get their second here, aren't they? Panzo, I thought intercepted, but it actually fell to Arsenal. And, yeah. Well, that was 3 hours well spent this morning, wasn't it? Back to the drawing board and all that. Arsenal have got so many attacking players. Panzo just kicked it into their defender. Into their attacker, even. Psh. It's not a disaster yet. I mean, we've not been... Oh, that was an excellent effort again. I mean, it's not a disaster. We're playing against Arsenal. They're going to have better finishing than we have. I'm a little bit worried that Miller doesn't seem to have really been involved at all. That's a bit of a worry. David Hall's had more chances than Miller, and he's been on 15 minutes. So that's something that potentially needs addressing. Miller really thrived as a lone striker last year. Perhaps he needs those crosses coming in from wingers. Which again, it doesn't bode brilliantly for me. But here is Miller. We actually get to see him on the ball. He finds Hall with a lovely pass. And Hall just remembered he's a championship player and kind of ran into their defender. Right, Storaro to Miller again. Hall is in again. Oh, David Hall could have had a hat-trick. We've actually had more clear-cut chances than Arsenal in this game now. Our finishing's just not been clinical enough. And that was kind of the story of... Certainly the first part of last season until we got Miller up on his own. There is Miller forcing us. Another save. That's 3 clear-cut chances now to Arsenal's 1. We're being mugged on the first day. On the first day of the season, boys and girls. We've been mugged. Rubbish. Don't worry. Things are going to improve massively from this point onwards. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you pop a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. Thank you very much for watching.